Good morning, everyone. I'm Kim Stevenson from Eden Yoga in Hopkinton, New Hampshire. And on this beautiful Sunday morning, I decided to make a quick video about sciatica. My partner here, Diego Abrams, has had bouts of sciatica. I just keep hearing about people suffering from sciatica all the time. So I figured it's time to make a quick video showing two methods that we've found to immediately alleviate the pain, albeit temporarily. And I'd like to also show you a few yoga poses that will help long-term in eliminating sciatic pain and preventing future bouts. So without further ado, here is my partner Diego Abrams. He's going to, hi, this is Diego.
Hi everybody.
And I'm going to show what we do to help eliminate his pain temporarily when he's having an acute bout of sciatic pain.
And for those who know me, I had major back surgery 11 years ago, and ever since I've been having issues, both legs. Recently it's been my left leg. It started out with the right, but now I have more problems over on my left leg than I ever had with my right. And I deal with this, especially long car trips. Anybody who's been suffering from sciatica understands if you're sitting down for too long, if you're in long, any angle in a car seat. By the way, if you're sciatic users, if you're in a car seat, try to tilt it up. It relieves that pressure off of that and helps with it. But if you don't have a car that does that, Lord help you.
Okay, so here's what we do. Actually, if you want to lie down with your head over here. So go ahead and straighten your legs. And so on whichever side he's feeling the pain, the first thing that I'll do is hold on to his ankle and just pull. Oftentimes he'll be lying on the bed, so it's a little bit easier on my body to just stand at the end of the bed and bend my knees and lean back. But I just use my body weight to lean back and pull. And he'll tell you that most of the time will alleviate the pain immediately. And then the pain will be lessened for some short period of time afterwards, but it doesn't tend to get rid of it. The muscles will tend to go back to where they were before, which is why I'm going to show you some yoga poses that you can do on your own to help, to really help prevent it longer term. Now the other pose that we do involves bending the knee, and I'll hold on right at the top of his thigh bone and pull from here. Again, it's about drawing the thigh bone down away from the pelvis to release the muscles of the pelvis, to open up the space around the sciatic nerve so that it's no longer being pinched. Another variation. Take your leg out to the side.
Yeah, usually this way.
Yeah, so right like that will pull. And you can experiment with it too and see what works for you, whether you're pulling straight down away from the pelvis, or in this case here, I'm pulling a little bit out to the side. But sit and hold with steady pressure, and your partner will be really happy. I mean, you'll know right away because it works immediately to take the pain away, right?
Yes.
So that's just a quick tip that if you've got somebody at home to help you with that can alleviate your pain immediately. All right, thanks for your help, Diego. So before I show you the yoga poses, I think it would be really helpful to show two images to give you a sense of what is happening in the pelvis when the sciatic nerve is getting pinched. In this first image, you see how the sciatic nerve comes through from the front side of the body, through the buttock muscles and down the back of the leg. The muscle directly above the sciatic nerve is the piriformis muscle, labeled here. So the poses that we're going to do today are going to help alleviate tension in the piriformis muscle, because when it's contracted, it pushes down on the sciatic nerve and can pinch it. The second muscle we're going to talk about is the psoas. As you can see in this image, the psoas, you have two psoas muscles, one on either side of the spine, and each muscle attaches to the side of the lumbar vertebrae and comes down the front of the pelvis and attaches to the upper inner thigh bone. This, though it doesn't directly make contact with the sciatic nerve, what it does is when the psoas is chronically contracted, it pulls down, it basically tips the pelvis in such a way that it causes the piriformis muscle to push against the sciatic nerve. So it's very important to eliminate sciatica, to relieve chronic tension in the psoas muscle and tension in the piriformis, which is what I'll show you to do now. There are actually numerous yoga poses that are very good for sciatica and work well with these muscles, but today I want to show you the most simple, gentle poses that anyone can do at home. And these are poses that will likely be accessible to anyone even enduring sciatic pain in the moment. Later on I might make a video that is better, that includes more poses that are good for preventing future bouts of sciatica, but today let's just focus on two gentle, simple poses. The first one is called Constructive Rest Pose, and rather than using the props that I would use in a studio, I decided to use items that everyone has at home. So what we're going to use today are a belt, a pot that I put a towel over because the bottom was a little bit greasy, and a stiff couch cushion. So, in a studio we'd have a nice stiff bolster and blocks to support it, but not everybody has these items at home, so instead we can use these. What we're going to do is take the pot, lean the stiff cushion against it, sit down in front, and take your belt. I've already made it into a loop. You can either put your feet through it like this or belt it around your legs. Make it wide enough so that your knees are a little bit wider than hip width apart. And when I say hip width, I don't mean the outer portion of your hips, which can vary a lot person to person. I mean the hip points where they poke out in the front. A little bit wider so that after you lie back into this position, it feels as though your legs are dropping out a little bit and really leaning into the belt. You want to feel like your legs are supported by the belt so that your adductor muscles on the inner legs are completely relaxed. You can do it without the belt, but there's a sense of those inner thigh muscles having to work a little bit to hold the knees in place. We want to eliminate that by letting the knees drop out and be fully supported. So I've leaned back onto my cushion. Let the arms drop out to the sides. And what we're doing here is releasing the psoas. So as you lie here, you can visualize the psoas muscle in your head. Again, that's the muscle. You have two of them. One attaches to each side of the lumbar spine, is the lower portion of the spine. It attaches along the lumbar vertebrae and passes through the pelvis and attaches to the upper inner thigh bone on each side. The other thing I want to mention too about being in the pose is you do not want your feet to feel like they're slipping. So don't do this with socks on a wood floor. The whole point of this pose is to be able to completely let the whole body go, not just the psoas muscle. So you want if you need to, have your feet at a wall, so there's no sense whatsoever that the feet might slip out. Notice my legs are at about a 45-degree angle, and I'm reclined back at a comfortable angle. I used a pot. If you have a taller pot, it doesn't matter, but something at this angle is very conducive to helping those psoas muscles release. So we're going to stay in this pose for really as long as necessary. In this video, we'll hold it just for a couple of minutes, but I would invite you to pause the video and spend as long as 5 or 10 minutes, even longer, in this pose until you get the sense of the pelvic muscles softening and releasing down into the bowl of the pelvis. As you saw in the images, the pelvic bones form kind of a bowl shape, and you're looking for a sense that all of these muscles are completely relaxing, letting go. The upper inner thigh bones are softening down toward the floor. And the best way to allow those muscles to relax, and this is really the tricky thing, this is the hard thing, I've been working with this for years. I have a book about the psoas muscle, and I was telling my other partner the other day that I didn't do any of the exercises in them because I was too impatient. I wanted to do something where I could make my muscles do what I wanted them to do quickly and efficiently, and it just doesn't work that way with these muscles. It's all about being patient and allowing them to soften. You cannot force them to soften. The breath is an incredible tool for helping that happen. As you lie here, let your feet be heavy on the floor. Let your buttock bones, pelvic bones sink heavily into the floor. Let your back be heavy on the cushion. Arms heavy, head heavy. It's as if your whole body is melting into the floor. As you stay here, you can help stay present and focused in the moment by bringing your attention to your breath. Focus on a long, soft inhalation, long, soft, steady exhalation. And with every exhalation, allow your body to release more heavily into the floor. And the more that you can allow a belly breath to come rather than breathing into the chest, the more these lower abdominal and pelvic muscles can release. Because as you breathe into the belly, the diaphragm moves more fully down. The diaphragm is kind of a shelf bisecting the torso here, and as you inhale, it pushes down, which is what makes the belly push up, because what it's doing is it's pushing down on all of the digestive organs and creating less space for them, which isn't what makes the belly push up. And what's happening as that happens is that movement is gently massaging all of the muscles in the low abdomen and the pelvis. That's great. That's what we want. So as you lie here breathing, really allow the abdominal muscles to be relaxed. Let the diaphragm push down on the inhalation and soften back up on the exhalation. Okay, so you'll take your time with that one. The next one that I want to show is very similar, but we're lying flat on the floor without the belt around the knees. You can have a little cushion behind the head if that's more comfortable, but this time we'll lie flat on the floor. So already that psoas muscle is a little bit longer than it was in the last position, right? Because the distance from the vertebrae here to the inner thigh is slightly longer. But already that muscle has started to let go. So you'll take a few minutes here. Again, really taking your time, letting the pelvic bones sink into the floor, and looking for a sense of release here. If you find that you lie down and your back is arched with your knees bent, then that's an immediate sign that that muscle is tight, that the psoas muscle is contracted. Stay and allow, not by tipping the pelvis. Don't make your low back go down by tipping your pelvis. Because look, now my upper inner leg has pushed up. I haven't lengthened that muscle at all. I've just tipped my pelvis. We want to look for the pelvis to be nice and level, the inner groins releasing down, and the lower back sinking to the floor. I don't know if you can see, mine's a little bit up off the floor. And so I'm going to take the time to allow it allow it to sink down. Now that happened pretty fast because we already spent the time in the previous pose. And I've been doing this for a while, really working on softening these muscles for months now. From here, so take your time with this. When you feel like your pelvis is flat, settled into the floor, and the low back is released in the floor, then we'll bring one knee up, the opposite side of the leg that has pain. So say I have sciatic pain in my left leg, I'm going to draw the right knee in. And again, let those muscles soften. And then slowly straighten the leg with the pain. So already right here, I'm feeling a little bit of tension on that psoas muscle. So I'm going to pause there and breathe. Breathe into the belly. And with every exhalation, let my body sink more heavily into the floor. Really allow my body to soften and let go. And it's released a little bit more, so I'm going to let my legs straighten. So far that's been all about releasing the psoas muscle. Next we'll work on lengthening the piriformis, which is, again, the muscle that actually pinches down on the nerve when it's tight. So we're going to bring the ankle to the bent leg knee, as you can see here. Sometimes people here will feel some pain in their knee. If you tend toward knee issues and the hips tend to be tight, this right here can cause some knee pain. If that's the case, what you can do is take the flesh of the thigh and externally rotate it, right? So from inner to outer, I have turned the flesh, and that should alleviate any discomfort in the knee. Now, depending on your flexibility, this right here, in this position, might already be stretching that outer buttock muscle. Others might want to start bringing this knee in. You can hold on around the thigh bone and just lie here and breathe. Again, it's not about forcing it to lengthen, it's about gently encouraging it to lengthen, allowing it to lengthen. So stay here, breathing. You should be feeling a stretch across the outer buttock. Okay, and find the place that's right for you, where you're feeling an amount of stretch that is bearable, that you can hold for several minutes without great discomfort. Right? This is really about easing in. If you force the muscle into a range of motion that's its maximum, it will not let go. It's essential that you pause at a place just short, maybe 20% short of its full extension. Okay? And then gradually breathe and let it lengthen. And as you find that the muscle starts to open up, you can draw the knee in a bit closer. And for balance, it's good to always do both sides. Even if the pain is only on one side, stretch both sides. One more variation of this pose that I'd like to show is with the foot on the wall, because sometimes it's uncomfortable to have the knee bent this much. Sometimes it's also just easier to have the support of the wall to let go. So pretend this is a couch or a wall. I like the wall better, but we don't really have a wall in the frame. So I'm going to take that lifted foot and place it on the couch or a wall, and that way I can stay here completely relaxed, both legs supported, and either adjust the thigh flesh if necessary, if I'm feeling any discomfort in my knee, and also press out on that thigh bone a bit to help open up inside the hip socket. If I want more of a stretch, then I just scoot my butt closer to the couch or the wall so this knee is bent in closer. So just a couple of simple, gentle poses to help alleviate your sciatica. There are many more poses that we could do, but I think this is a really good start. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at EdenYogaNH.com. Again, Kim Stevenson of Eden Yoga. Thank you very much for watching.